Hey guys, I'm back, and today we are doing the last of the Mother Archetypes series, and it is called The Dark Mother. So I left it last because it is very different from the other mothers that I've been doing. So you will notice that the four mother archetypes that I've done, and it's not all of them, it's just, the most obvious four that I think a lot of people could relate to. You will notice that those are directly a human mother and a human child relationship. So the nurturing mother, in as much as the nurturing mother appears in myths and archetype and folklore, but you can relate to what a nurturing mother is in your everyday life, right? It makes sense, a nurturing mother. Maybe you had a nurturing mother, maybe a friend had a nurturing mother, same as the protective mother, and then the teaching mother, I'm sure you've heard of a teaching mother. I'm sure a friend had a teaching mother or you had a teaching mother. So you a training mother as well. We call them training mother as well. So you can relate to those. Yes, they appear in folklore, they appear in mythology, but they also appear in real life. The absent mother, I mean, that one touched so many people. I cannot tell you how many DMs I got and how many emails I received around the absent mother. And just to reiterate on the absent mother, it is not that the mother was completely absent. Please listen to that video, watch that video again, or watch that video if you haven't. The absent mother, we are speaking about aspects of the mother that you needed so desperately, and she was missing in action in those. Even though she was physically present and maybe even nurturing for that matter, but you find that she was missing in some of the most important areas that you needed personally, you as a child, you needed that. Yes, she was a providing mother, which also falls around the nurturing mother, but you probably needed some protection. You probably needed to be taught some lessons. You probably needed more things than what she gave you. And in that sense, it means she did not have the capacity for that or whatever reason. And in that case, it means it falls on you. The things that you needed from your mother, and she couldn't give them. They were absent, which made her absent in that sense. You need to cultivate them in yourself. You need to self-mother, reparent, so that it does not spill over to your generation, to your children rather. Okay, so like I said in the previous videos, these are very deep teachings and they're long. It's a long curricula that if you're interested, you just follow my newsletter, just subscribe to my newsletter. You find my newsletter on my website, visit my website, subscribe to the newsletter, and then you'll get updated when I do these longer teachings and if you're interested in them. And those teachings won't be just me, a talking head, they'll be interactive, they'll be engaging, and so on. So now the dark matter. So the dark matter is a completely different category, and not everybody. It's a different category in that it is not a relationship between a mother, human mother, and a child. Yes, it is a human mother. The dark matter is a human mother, but it is not a relationship with children. So the dark matter is an embodiment of the raw feminine energy, and this dark matter rises once in a lifetime when nations, communities, maybe larger clans and family structures need her. So why exactly does the dark mother appear? When, how, and why? So let me just wear my glasses so I can look at my notes. When I don't look at my notes, I can run off on a tangent. Yeah, especially with topics like the dark mother. It's just so huge. I can really go on and on. So why does the dark matter appear, or when does the dark matter appear in our life? Like I said, it's a once in a lifetime situation, or it's a once in an era situation where the dark matter arises. So one of the things you need to understand is that the dark matter will only ever appear or rather, the dark matter only ever appears when disruption, transformation, change needs to happen. When, like I said, an injustice has gone on for far too long, and in a anomaly has gone on for far too long, and oppression has gone on for far too long, and nobody in society, in community, even in family, atmospheres. I'll talk about the dark matter in families as well, so that you can relate to that matriarch, that auntie in the family who took no nonsense, who changed the entire family dynamic. That is an energy of the dark matter. So she's generally the dark matter is generally misunderstood for obvious reasons because she does not have the necessary or the obvious nurturing protection that we associate with ordinary human mothers. So her force is bigger. So the dark matter is larger than herself. The dark matter is larger than life, and her mission is bigger. It's beyond her. It's literally not about her. And obviously, I'm sure as we are listening now, certain figures are coming to mind. We had a dark mother in the dark ages of apartheid. We had our own very dark mother, Mama Winnie Mandela. So Mama Winnie Mandela was single-handedly carrying the spirit of the dark mother, fighting the apartheid regime that was so obsessed with her. If you have not watched the Trials of Winnie on Netflix, please do that, and then you'll understand this video even better, and maybe you will understand her even better. She was an archetype. She was acting out of a deeper and a bigger spirit than just her individual self. And yes, the dark matter has a destructive side, like a wave, like a tsunami. It is here to clean, it is here to change lives, it is here to transform, but it does leave casualties, which is obviously the shadow side of the dark matter. It leaves casualties. I mean, if you think of the story of Stompy Sipe, that is a very, very uncomfortable side of the dark matter and Ada in the football club and all that. But that is part of the archetype. It is just not a Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa, by the way, is also another mother archetype, which I'll get into some other time. So the dark matter does completely different things to the other bigger archetypal mothers like Mama Teresa, Mother Teresa. To a lesser or gentler extent, Mama Wangari Maathai from Kenya also embodied the dark mother energy. I mean, Mama Wangari, you need to have time to read her story and read her book, Unbowed. She refused to bow down to political pressure. She faced them and she challenged them as they were destroying the forest, the rainforest in Kenya, because they wanted to build malls and complexes and all that. She single-handedly said, "Not in my name," and started a movement called the Green Belt Foundation, which is still, in existence to this day. But she was defiant. She refused to bow. She did not back down. She wrote paper after paper. She challenged them and she won. And that is the spirit of the Dark Mother. You go against the grain. You challenge. The Dark Mother energy is, I don't know if I want to say sad because you almost have to do it alone. I mean, if you think of what's happening currently in South Africa, and this is going to be controversial. I mean, like her or dislike her, Jacinta. Jacinta of March and March is embodying the dark mother energy. And if you've been following Jacinta for a while, she didn't just emerge now that we are talking about her. Apparently, this issue of undocumented immigrants has been bugging her for years and years. For those who've been following her for a while on social media, she was apparently even fired on a radio in KZN because she just couldn't shut up. And this is the spirit of what a dark mother is. And it will always be the female. To take it slightly even further in our political history as South Africans, the women of 1956, Mam Lillian Ngoyi and the other three, had the energy of the dark mother. They stood up and they mobilized and they gathered 20,000 strong women, mothers, to face an injustice that just could not go on. So that is an example of what the dark mother is. It's not an evil mom who beats you up or who hates you or who's jealous of you, like some people thought it would be. It is a bigger category of an archetype. And we recognize it when it comes because it's going to make others uncomfortable. Others are going to bow to her completely, like the followers and worshippers of Jacinta, and others are going to hate her vehemently, the same as Winnie Mandela, the same as Wangari Maathai, the same as Jacinta right now. I'm saying Jacinta, there's others currently because there's a lot of dark matter energy rising because it is an embodiment of raw and true feminine energy. And as you know, if you've been following me for a while or following my teachings, you know that we are no longer in the rise of the feminine. We are in the feminine energy. Things are changing. The world is changing. So it does not surprise me that the Jacintas of this world will rise. So don't be surprised if it's rising. It's coming up. It's coming up. It's coming up. It will rise in institutions as well. Corporate South Africa. It it will rise in areas where you did not even expect it to rise. But the dark matter is here, and maybe the dark matter energy is the original feminist energy. If you think of old feminists, when feminist movement started, the first wave, the second wave, that was dark matter energy rising. That is raw, true feminine energy. But because of feminism, and if you get time, please listen to or watch my feminism videos. I recorded about 3 of them, and you'll see what I mean. Those were different times. Feminism, as it was rising back then, it had the dark matter energy, but it was still very much masculine. And now we are seeing the rise of dark mothers in the form of the Jacintas of the world. And I tell you now, Africa is going to be bringing a lot of those. We just watch between now and 2032. We will be dealing with a completely different political space and the rise of real feminine power, not just women in parliament, not just women in political spaces, but the real true feminine energy is emerging and it is protective. I mean, if there's one thing about the mother energy or the mother energy, is that it is very, 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 very protective, almost more than masculine energy. And we'll get into some of those as time goes on. So yes, the dark matter, when she emerges, when she shows up, it's usually fierce leadership, like fearlessness almost. There's a refusal to submit. There's breaking of social rules. That's what dark matter energy comes with. There's disruption of the status quo, the element of surprise. It will be the element of surprise, and she catches you by surprise. Like, who is this? Where did she come from? The same way that Winnie Mandela surprised everybody, including the ANC, including the UDF, including, obviously, the apartheid system. So there's that element of surprise that the dark matter comes with. They disrupt the status quo in ways that you don't know what to do with it because it is a surprise. It's like, huh, what just happened? Speaking uncomfortable truths. I don't know if you watched Jacinta's press conference, I think it was the end of May, where she spoke some of the truths that I thought, oh my God, does this girl have bodyguards? Because it's truths that I have not even had not one politician speak the way she spoke on that press conference. If you get time, please go watch it. It was on ENCA. It is here on YouTube. Mobilizing people into action. Mama Winnie Mandela, they always mobilize people, but they lead and they are the face from beginning to end, and they mobilize us and they divide people and they polarize people. That is what the dark matter energy does. And because every archetype has the shadow side, there is the shadow side to the dark matter. And again, it's just unfortunate that we live in a world of duality, but there's a shadow side. I mean, the shadow side is that most dark matters end up being way, way too bitter. Over time, it's almost like this fire that they have ends up consuming them. Um, Ending up being lonely, even though you are followed by so many people. So they also tend to be quite cruel. So there's a cruelty. Think of a wave, think of a tsunami. The way it destroys certain things, there's some cruelty about it. Unfortunately, it is the energy of the dark matter that comes with it. There's also fundamentalism, where it's either black or white. It's either black or white. There's no room for gray. And I'm sure you can tell now when you think of Jacinta, when you think of Mama Winnie, there wasn't too much room for gray. There was not too much room for negotiation. It is either we fight till the bitter ends or we die. And obviously the dark matter archetype then tends to be the enemy of the people at the end of the day, becoming what you were fighting for. So the thing with the dark matter energy is that you look too long in the abyss. You are looking too long in the abyss. And while you're looking too long in the abyss is looking back at you. And what that's saying simply means is that you become the thing that you are fighting. And that's just the unfortunate part of the dark matter. But do we need the dark matter? Absolutely, because they come and they change things. They change the narrative, but then they forget or they don't know that their role was to just do the tsunami thing and disappear. So what the dark matter then wants to end up doing is to then still be in power after the mission is done. And that's just what I think sort of happened to Mama Winnie Mandela. That's why she couldn't fit in parliament. She couldn't fit in any leadership position. I mean, she said it even in the documentary that who are they to give me positions? Who are they to tell me where to be? I love the analogy of the wave because once the wave has done its destruction, it's gone. It disappears. You know, there's no residues of it. So I suppose what dark matter energy, particularly in these times that we live in these modern times, is to recognize that your role was to just help us destroy this, help us transition, transform into this, and then find your rightful space somehow, but not to lead the thing on. So yeah, that is the dark matter energy. That's why it happens once in a lifetime. That's why it's not going to be many women who embody it. Although I feel like this time around, like I said earlier, there'll be a few more. It won't be one Winnie Mandela. There'll be a few more that rise across the continent and across the country. Because we are living in a different era. You know, we have moved on. Earth itself is not where it was. So just watch the space. And to bring it home so that it's even more relatable, the dark matter in a family situation or in a community, for an example, let me start with community. The mothers who were fighting, the colored mothers who were fighting against drug and alcohol, those are embodied with the dark matter energy. The mothers who are fighting against drunk driving, I know there was a group in America, that's the dark matter energy. So it is a collective of feminine or females who stand up against a serious injustice that the powers that be does not want to tackle. And they tackle it, and then they bring awareness, and then they disappear. Because now the thing is now the awareness is there, something is being done about it. In a family structure, it is that auntie who refuses to cooperate with an uncle who's abusing every child in the family. It is that grandma who is prepared to tell all secrets so that we can heal. It is that mama who is going to therapy, who is saying no more, who is saying, I'm not going to continue with this. It's a lesser extent, but it is the dark mother energy. It is any woman, any mother who is willing to face rejection, to face power, to speak truth to power, and to deal with the consequences that comes. It's the one who refuses to keep quiet. Then you know there's an embodiment, there's an energy of the dark mother. It is a big topic, and I'm going to leave it here, and hopefully I'll get some comments and some questions, and then I will keep you posted on whether we will do live Zooms or not. But for now, I am happy that we're concluding this theme because I have another theme in mind. Hopefully you will like it, and I'll see you very soon. And this is my story. I cannot wait to hear yours.